of SJL Yoga. Please remember to comment, share, and subscribe once you're done with this video. I really appreciate everybody watching the videos thus far. I hope you're enjoying them. Today we are going to go on to Sun Salutation B. Last week we did A, which is the start of a vinyasa yoga class. It's usually used as a warm-up. And then B is actually a continuation of that, and a lot of the poses are repeats, but it's a little more challenging, so I will offer the modifications after I break down each pose, just like I did with the last class. And then on Sunday, I'll follow it up with a Sun B Salutation full class. So we're going to get started at the top of our mats for Sun Salutation B. This is going to start in chair pose, and chair pose is a pose that really works the upper thighs. So a lot of teachers will keep you in that pose to stretch out that part of your body. So you're going to sink your hips down like you're sitting in a chair. Make sure that your knees don't go past your feet, but are in line with your ankles. So you're going to sink down. Now the arm variation is very fluid here. You can have your hands at heart center. You can have your hands up. You can have your hands at goal posts. You can have your hands behind your back. Whatever pose that you would like to use for this with your arms is perfectly fine. I'm going to have it the traditional way with my arms above my head. And you should be able to bring your toes off the ground and rock onto your heels here, so you're not really gripping the mat. So you're going to stay here for a few breaths. And then you're going to straighten the legs and come all the way down to a forward fold. Just like you did in your Sun A, you're going to hang your head heavy. Wherever your arms come today, that's great. If they don't come all the way to the ground, that's okay. And then you're going to come into your halfway lift, flat back to the ceiling. Crown of the head is straight in line with the tailbone. Exhale, forward fold. You're going to plant your hands, come back to your plank. Remember to have your toes up on your mat. Shoulders are stacked over the wrists. And you're going to bend your elbows back towards the body, hugging them in, halfway down, chaturanga. Flip the tops of the feet, press into the mat, upward facing dog, thighs off the mat, gazes up. And then come into your downward facing dog, tuck your toes under, come into your down dog. From here, we're going to lift the leg up, right, just like we did in pigeon. And you're going to bend the knee and bring it between your hands. If you have to help your foot up towards the front of your mat, that's okay too. You're going to plant the back foot so your foot's at a 45-degree angle. That's not exact science, it's just a gauge. Just make sure that your foot is on the ground. You're going to make sure that your knee and your ankle are in one straight line. And you're going to lift up into Warrior One. Traditionally, your arms are above your head here. Again, same arm variation. Come to heart center, come to goal posts. I'm going to come into traditional hands above the head. And you're going to take a few deep breaths here. Then I'm going to take my arms down to the ground and frame out each side of my foot, coming back up onto the toes of the back foot, and bring the front foot to meet the back one in my plank pose. Again, I'm going to shift forward, come into my chaturanga, upward facing dog, thighs off the ground, downward facing dog, flipping my feet. And we're going to switch sides. So your left leg comes out just like we did for pigeon. Bringing the foot between the hands again. Plant that back foot. Making sure that your heel and your knee are in one straight line. Lifting up to your Warrior One. Making sure your knee is not going past. If you find that your leg is going past your ankle, you can move that back foot out a little bit, making sure that your hips are square to the front of your mat, like you have two head legs on your hip bones towards the front of your mat. Inhaling and exhaling a few times. And then taking your arms down to the ground, frame out that foot, come up onto the back toes, bring the left foot to meet the right, come down to your chaturanga, upward facing dog, thighs off the ground, flip those toes, downward facing dog. And then you're going to make your way to the front of the mat, either hopping or stepping, into your forward fold. Inhale halfway. We're going to repeat the flat back. Exhale, fold it down. From here, you're going to bend your knees, sink those hips down, and rise up to your chair pose. Arms come up. Staying in your chair pose. And then straightening the legs, coming into your mountain pose. That is a breakdown of all of the poses for a Sun B. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit, do modifications, and then do the advanced version, so you can incorporate whatever works for you into your home practice. So first we're going to do the modification, which has your feet hip width distance apart. This is also good if you're pregnant, just a side note. You're going to bend your knees, making sure those knees don't go past the toes. And I'm going to have my hands at heart center. Inhaling and exhaling, sinking down. I had a teacher before tell me in my chair pose, no sassy butts. You don't want your butt sticking out, you want your butt down. Exhale, forward fold, keeping your knees bent. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step it back to your plank. Drop your knees, untuck the feet for your modified plank, keeping your shoulders directly over your wrists. Elbows are hugging in, come all the way to the ground. Flatten the body out. Slightly come up into your cobra pose, gaze is over your mat. Come through your tabletop. Tuck the toes under to your downward facing dog. Take that right leg, come out straight. Toes are down to the ground. Bringing your foot between your hands. Plant that back foot. Rise up to your warrior one. Try to have your hands above your head. If that's not working for you, make sure they're at heart center. Making sure those hips are square to the front of your mat. Planting the hands on either side of the foot. Come up onto the back toes. Plant that right foot. Come down to the knees, untuck the toes. Come all the way down to the ground. Cobra pose, chest comes up, gaze is down. Come through tabletop and downward facing dog. Taking the left leg out and then bringing it between your hands, helping that foot up if you need to. Drop that back foot. Inhale the arms all the way up. Square the hips. Take that left hip back to square the hips. Hands at heart center if you need to. Take the arms down. Come up onto the back toes. Come back to your plank. Untuck the toes. Flow all the way down to the ground. Inhale to your cobra. Come through tabletop. Downward facing dog. Walk to the front of your mat. Take as many steps as you need to get there. Feet are hip width distance apart. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sink the hips down. Rise up to your chair. Sink those hips. Feet are hip width distance apart. Hands at heart center. Exhale, come all the way up, mountain pose. Now I'm going to go into the advanced version without the modifications. So your feet are together towards the front of your mat, mountain pose. Inhale the arms all the way up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, plant the hands. Bend your knees, jump back directly to your chaturanga. Remember, always jump back with bent arms. Halfway down. Flip the toes. Upward facing dog. Thighs are off the ground. Come into your downward facing dog. Right leg comes all the way up. And then come through your hands. Planting the back foot, rise up. Warrior one. Hips are square. Framing out that foot. Take that right foot back, but keep it off the ground. Shift forward, halfway down. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot comes all the way up. And then come between the hands. Plant that back foot down. Rise up, warrior one. Framing out the foot. Take that left foot back. Keep it off the ground. Shift forward, halfway down. Flip the feet, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees, hop forward into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Coming into your chair pose, sink the hips down. Rise up, arms above your head. Inhaling and exhaling. And then coming down to your mountain pose. So that is your Sun B with the modifications and the advanced poses. Thank you for joining me for this tutorial, and I hope to see you guys on Sunday for a full class dedicated to your Sun B. Until then, keep practicing. Like, share, and comment below of what you would like to see more of on this channel, and I can't wait to flow with you guys on Sunday. Namaste.